and then alongside your normal life. We love to see your feedback each and all the time, okay? And in this conversation right here, we're going to delve into matters social entrepreneurship. Literally, the country right now has a huge bulk of 75% that accounts for 4.5 million youth, and that includes both men and women. And the biggest problem that's festering among the youth today is unemployment. And in bid to alleviate that, there's need for advocacy in matters entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity to give opportunities for you. And a young man, a powerful gentleman who is doing that to ensure that, he creates opportunities for you and I and many other people out there is Mr. Meshack Nyaberi. He is a CEO of Angel Smile Initiative. Karibu sana, Mr. Nyaberi.
Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Karibu sana. So there's a lot that you do alongside you being the CEO of Angel Smile. Maybe let's just get a little background scope of what you're doing currently professionally before we get now to the entrepreneurial bit.
Okay. Thank you for having me. And my professional background sparks in the field of business and IT. So it's a combination of two.
Right.
Yeah. So when I combine the two, that's how the aspect of innovation came in.
Right.
Because, opportunities comes across, and when we have those opportunities, for us to identify those opportunities, we need an innovative mind for us to identify them in society.
Yeah.
Yeah, and innovation is all about finding solutions to existing problems.
Yeah.
So you must have an innovative eye for you to identify those problems, so that you are able to create a solution to the same. So on that aspect, you find that you are creating opportunities.
Yeah. And that taps into, it's literally difficult to separate innovation and tech.
Sure.
Yeah, but now at Angel Smile, and you are sharing with me about several things that you do at Korogocho that are super innovative and impressive, and they're helping to change lives of young people. So maybe let's delve into what is currently happening at Angel Smile alongside many other things that you're doing at Korogocho.
Okay, Angel Smile Initiative is an NGO. It's registered. It's a duly registered NGO.
Right.
But under it, we do so many other things. For example, in terms of education, we ensure we keep children at school, especially those who are not able to maybe to fund their education. Right. We're also into climate change. We also into matters to do with health. Also, besides that, we also ensure, because we also, we have a branch in Mombasa. Right. There is this that we call the blue economy as well. So we are trying to get into that. But now, when we combine all this, we found that we are advocates of what we call the SDGs. Right. That's the UN 17 SDGs. In a way, that's how now I came up with the idea of Kipaji Kazi. Right. So the idea of Kipaji Kazi, it's ideally working towards the achievement of the SDGs, but at the same time creating opportunities in society. Through innovation. Through innovation.
Yes, and you have an interesting project of where you are actually creating something amazing from waste, and then customizing into a very impressive miracle. And I'd love you to talk about it and how it has impacted people at Korogocho.
Okay, now even before I talk about that specific project, there is an aspect of social entrepreneurship that I like us to understand.
Absolutely.
Because the moment we get to understand that, then it will be easy for us to understand about specific projects.
Okay.
Yeah, social entrepreneurship is ideally looking at the economical value and the social impact at the same time. In the sense that as much as you are creating change in community, there are opportunities coming out what exactly you are doing that can be able to benefit, for example, the youth.
Right.
To be precise, Kipaji Kazi is so much focused in matters empowering the youth, women, and PWDs.
Right.
In the sense that you'll find that we have problems in the community. You've talked of an example of Korogocho. Yeah. There is a group that I'm working with there. What they do is that they collect the dirt from the waste from the market. Korogocho actually is a very big market. It serves almost a quarter of Nairobi population.
And it's branded as a slum.
Yeah, it's branded as a slum. Okay. But amidst that waste, we had to employ what we call an innovative eye with the youth who are passionate about creating opportunities and making something good out of the waste.
Yeah.
And now that's how, when I sat with them down, we had to look around and see how can we be able to change the community at the same time around Korogosho. At the same time, how can we be able to create opportunities out of this? And how can you create opportunities is by coming up with what kind of product can we be able to get out of that?
Right.
So, and that's how we came up with the idea of making what we call the briquettes out of the waste that we get from the market.
Yes.
It's actually, as much as we are running it, but not really in a big, in big scale,
way.
in a commercial way. Of course, it's commercial to some extent, but it's only that, like right now, as I speak to you, actually the market surpasses production, and the materials are there in plenty already.
Meaning there's high demand.
Meaning, the demand,
supply.
of course, is there, and that gives the reason why, like, as a country, we need to focus. There are some things that we do not look at, but they're very potential in terms of creating opportunities.
Right.
You see, like, that's a sleeping giant, because you see that, like right now, we are able to run like, let's say like 200 kilograms per day that we can be able to create those briquettes. But you see, it's because of the capacity. For example, like now, the supply of electricity there, it's not so, it's not enough to do more. And the machine that is already there is a little bit, it cannot be able to produce to supply the demand.
So it's a processing plant.
Yeah, it's more of like a processing plant.
Okay.
Yeah, you see that. So that's what I'm saying. If we can be able to look around, because you see, I was trying to talk to you before. There is a difference between resources and being resourceful.
Okay.
As we look much about resources, and that's where you'll find that most of the youth, when they want to start like business, they're much talking about money, funding.
Okay.
And when funding comes, if you're not resourceful, it will not still help you, because you'll still come back to the street.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that? But when there is that passion, and that now brings in the aspect of Kipajikazi. Kipajikazi is simply, that's a Swahili name that it's a combination of two Swahili words. That's, we have Kipaji and then Kazi. So Kipaji
is it a version
passion
of Talanta Hela? This one is more community based.
This is more community based.
Right.
This is more community based. And you know, when you're talking about passion, when you're talking about, passion is basically, you can say it's more of a talent, or passion, or interest. And then you combine it now with opportunities.
Right.
And not just opportunities, but we call them feasible or viable communities. Opportunities.
Okay.
Meaning that whenever projects, or whichever project, this is why now we call that as Kipajikazi, as what we call social enterprise model. That actually, I think I told you, that model won an award. That's an African award.
Right.
It's called the Social Impact Prize. And it was, the finals were on 7th of this month. Right. So I won the prize.
You won the prize.
And then I was branded an ambassador for Africa. That's the ASU. The ASU is simply Africa Social, it's a Africa Social Workshop that deals with matters empowering organizations that are working towards the achievement of the UN SDGs.
Okay, and that means you're tapping into communities, developing ideas, creativity and innovation, and at the same time giving them opportunities.
Exactly.
And in the intro, I've just read to you 4.5 million Kenyans, that includes a gender of both male and female, are suffering from unemployment that accounts for 35%. Sure. So that means in that population, in that community demographic you're working with, you've given them opportunity. How many so far are you working with?
So far, like right now, in Korogosho, we have almost 130. That's only, we are talking only about the Korogosho, because we also have one that is doing what we call the interlocking blocks in Kisii. Right. The reason why we're doing that, someone could ask, our Meshack, how is this relevant to SDGs and all that stuff? Remember, traditionally how we do the bricks. You have to do the bricks, maybe have them for like 2 months to dry, and then you burn them. Yeah. But now, when you're burning them, what are you using? Right. You're using firewood, right? So it means for you to get firewood, you have to cut down trees. So climatically, you're doing what? You're
contributing to climate crisis,
But so that's why we are so much into ensuring that we use the interlocking blocks because we are making them.
Yeah.
Interlocking blocks don't require, I mean, firewood or something like that. And then in a way, as much as we are doing that, so we are favoring the climate change, but at the same time, we are creating opportunities. And at the same time, we are creating what we call affordable way of doing, for example,
housing.
Housing.
Yeah, like building alternative material.
Alternative materials
to cement. And
exactly.
You go for. You're calling them, the name is for the product that you produce at the plant.
At the plant, the brick rates.
Brick rates. So instead of going for this other traditional one, you're giving an alternative of brick rates.
You go for that. And actually, it's just the same idea. You see, like the kind of brick rates, the ones that are being produced in Korogosho, instead of people going to burn down trees to get charcoal, now we are converting that waste to be a substitute.
Form of energy.
Form of energy. At the same time.
And that's like innovation and creativity
at the same time.
Another level.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Sure.
When you look at, also our societal setup right now, traditionally we are taught, you go to high school, finish high school, go to college, finish college or university graduate, go get a job, get married, have children, and die, next person comes in. But you're trying to break the chain by being innovative. So this means that you're advocating for social change. At the same time, you're doing business. And then when you look at now the entrepreneurial part in terms of money, because fintech is the next big thing, rather, also in matters business. Are there skills that you're equipping these youth as you work with them? In terms of now even networking, personal development, because we can work at a plant brand. When it's done, I go back to my problems.
Sure. That's a very good one. I think there are like 3 aspects I'll be able to address from what you just said. Number 1 is that I challenge the education system that we have in Kenya. And actually, if you see, most of the youth are frustrated. Reason being, I remember, Sakwa, the first day you went to school, you were told, my son, I want you to be a doctor at the end of the day, right? Your mom told you that, your dad told you the same.
They said you should
when you get to school, when you go to school, the first thing your class teacher told you is that I want you to read hard so that you become a doctor, right? So what happens, because you see the kind of mindset that is inculcated right from when you're a kid. So by the time you leave school, you are all set that I want to become a doctor or I want to become a teacher. Well, now, what do you think happens now when you're out of school, you're out of university, and you don't become that? What happens? Because you cannot, or you'll graduate as a teacher, but there are no opportunities. What happens? You get frustrated. And that's why, you see, like now, even most people, they're still trying to do some research and I don't know what, to find out what exactly is happening, why are people like taking their lives, where people getting so much into drugs.
Of mental health issues,
health issues and all that. It's simply because of, first of all, the education system, the mindset that we have. And that's why there is like a project that I'm trying to work on. It's ideally Kipaji Kazi. But in a way, it's something that I'm looking, if, God willing, it will be a presentation that I'm going to do in Las Vegas, that's in the US, in a way that it's going to be like more of a model that will be able, I want to bring it in the sense that to ensure that even through the schooling system, Kipaji Kazi does not only apply past or post-schooling, but it should be something that should start right from school. It becomes more of like a club in some way, so that when you grow up, we try to change the mindset that at the end of the day, I have to become someone in the office, or I have to become a teacher. If not, there is no option for that. Because the kind of education system that we have right now, it's so specific. It doesn't have an option. As in, there is no option, for example, for you not becoming a teacher, a doctor, and all that. But what is the reality? It's never that. So we want to diversify the way we look at things at the end of the day. I'm not saying that people should not study so that they become doctors and all that. But we should have like an option. Because ideally, if you look at what happens at the end of the day, what takes the biggest number in terms of securing opportunities at the end of the day, very few people go to the offices. Actually, like currently, it's like 10% go to the offices or become doctors or become teachers and all that. But the rest of the people, where do they go?
Right.
Okay, where do we take those guys who dropped along the schooling system?
Yeah.
Where do they go? Yeah, so we must go back and face issues in a reality. So that's when we can be able to find a solution to this. That's number one.
So you believe it should be a curriculum from as early as kindergarten?
Yeah, as early as kindergarten.
Okay.
And then there is another issue that you talked about in terms of skills.
Yes.
Kipaji Kazi being a model, it actually has what we call the 3 stages that someone has to go through for you to become success. And like I said, is that you'll find that most of the most successful people we have in the world currently are the people not who studied to get PhDs and stuff to do what they do, but the people who did passionately what they have at heart.
A social cause.
A social cause.
You know.
Okay, let's say it could be a social or just an economical cause.
Yes.
For them to achieve whatever. Look at the founders of like Facebook and all this. Just look at them. Right. These guys, you'll find that most of them even dropped along college or something like that. Yeah. But they knew what they wanted. And that's why we say at times that when you have a vision, you don't need permission. That's what we say. When you have a vision of what you want to do, and that's all about innovation. Right. Innovation is having an eye of seeing what other people can't see. And that's why you'll find that it's a bit difficult for someone. By the time, if you don't, most innovators, you must be good at explaining your idea for other people to get you. Yeah. Because this is something that you have within yourself that you need to tell other people to start understanding what you're trying to say, but it's something that is in a reality because you can be able to justify. Yeah, so that's why we say that vision does not need permission. Okay. Yeah. Right. So like I was saying, Kipaji Kazi has like 3 main phases. Number 1, we have what we call identification. Identification in 2 ways. We give opportunity for the youth to identify. We do first what we call more like a feasibility study. We know, for example, in a given community, we are so much centered into communities. Yeah. Like apart from Korogocho, have you diversified to somewhere else? Yeah. You see, like in Korogocho, that's why we within Korogocho community, whatever that you can be able get, for example, within Korogocho community, is not the same thing that you can get, for example, somewhere in Mombasa or somewhere in Kisumu within a given setting. Right. So what we do is that more of a feasibility study within a given area. Right. So once we do that, we identify some opportunities. Now, when we have these opportunities, and then the people that we want to involve around, by themselves, if you have like 3-4 opportunities that are available, then people, according to their interests and passion, they'll be able to voluntarily identify, me, I want to do A, B, C, D. Me, I want to go this route. Me, I want to go this. That's doing it out of what your willingness, something that you feel that I can be able to do. Yes. That's that's phase 1. Okay. Phase 2 is what we call mentorship and skills training. So, okay, now you've decided, I just want to get into the field of wastes, maybe recycling or management or something like that. Then we have mentors. We have mentors in the same field who are already successful in the field, who are skilled in the same field. So they'll be able now to sharpen you in what you're good at. Right. Now that's what we call more of like professionalizing arts or professionalizing something that you're good at or professionalizing your passion. Right? Now, once you professionalize or when you train someone, sharpen someone in a field that is so good at, I'm telling you, you'll never go wrong. Absolutely. That's absolutely, you get it right. So after that, under the same context, we have even what we call on-job training and stuff, because now during the trainings and the mentorship and all this, we have even these people attached to some mentors who will be able to mentor them in the field. These are guys who must be within the community running something almost similar to that. And now that's one the aspect of scaling what is being done comes in. Because now when this person, at the end of the day, once he has done the training, mentorship, and maybe the OJT, at the end of the day, now we come to phase 3, whereby we ensure that you identified what you love, you've been trained and mentored, you've done the attachments, you are still there. So we don't just leave you there. We ensure that we have what we call now actualization. What is actualization? Actualization is simply getting you to where you are supposed to, you continue doing what you do best. Right. And why do we do that? When you do that, now we call what the multiplying effect. In the sense that if, for example, we trained, let's say, like 20 people,
yeah,
by the time they get to the training and maybe the on-job training and the mentorship, and then they're done from there, they start running the programs,
yeah,
we turn them into mentors,
right,
and trainers, meaning that they're also going to mentor more.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that?
Right.
So we start having the multiplying effect.
A full circle.
A full circle.
Yeah. And you mentioned you're working with youth who are aged between 18 to 25,
yeah.
30 and even 35
yeah,
and
sure.
beyond. These are adults who are looking for life.
Yeah, exactly.
And opportunities. Yeah?
And opportunities.
But then also it requires a fully fledged, let's say a fully fledged institution to be able to empower, you know, a youth, because you need a lot of resources. So for you at Angel Smile, are there, let's say, forces that have put in resources in you, because you can't pour from an empty cup? Definitely
yeah,
there's funding. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And I know you started your dream way early. You told me this has been like a high school thing. And now you're impacting lives at Korogocho and many other places here. So has there been input in you? And more specifically, what kind of input? If you can mention about funding as well, that would be nice. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a very good question. But okay, I'd like to answer it this way. Number one, okay, I think at the beginning of the show, I talked of what we call resourcefulness and the resources.
Yeah.
So when it comes to resources, actually funds, let me call it straight money. Money has never been a factor. And that's where you'll find that most of the projects or whatever the funding models that we have may not even work.
Okay.
Why not? You see, like if you have a specific, okay, let's say for example, like a government institution offering, for example, funding, let's say the funding to the youth or wherever and all that.
Yeah.
Why do you think we get it wrong? You know, most people, we've never asked ourselves, where do we get this wrong?
But the issue is I want money to start a business.
Exactly.
And then
but that is it.
The money,
and that's why I always, I think I'd mentioned this to you, is that the reason why we get it in the empowerment, especially like when we want to create opportunities for the youth, where we get it wrong, number one, is because we do things not in a systematic manner. There are things that you can never do before others, right? For example, when we're talking about the funding for what? You don't tell people what, I mean, okay, you don't tell people what needs to be funded.
Or what is the idea?
What is the idea to be funded? Yes. Because you see, like what happens currently and why most may be funded. Okay, I don't want to be precise which ones, but why they don't work is, number one, is because, you know, youth by default, first of all, deal with the mindset, right? Deal with the mindset, because the mindset that is currently, and you can agree with me, is that once I get money in my pockets, that's the end of the story.
Or more carry loaded.
Are you saying that? Why can't we relook it this way? This money, if you want to empower this youth, because the youth, definitely, they will beat the whole system, and they'll beat the whole system. And that's why you see most of them are failing. Why? If I need, okay, what do you need for you to fund me? What do you need? I need a bank statement. I need people. I need the IDs. I'll supply you that, definitely.
But what are you doing with the funding?
But what am I going to do with it? Okay, whichever project that we've written as a proposal, are you sure we are going to do it?
Is it executable?
Is it executable? How? You see that? But now ask what we do. Actually, you go to their website, they'll tell you, bring us a bank statement, bring us ABCD. So the youth do exactly that. They're doing it because they just want money. The moment the money hits the account, they say, okay, how many are we? We are 20. How much is this? This 20,000. Everyone take your 1K, and that's the end of the story. So where are you going to get
So the problem is the mindset.
It's about the mindset. And then we don't have to look what we call viability of the projects that they want to do. Okay, let me give you an example. A very simple, a very practical example. Okay. What if this funding was done in a sense that let people first be mentored to understand what needs to be done. And then when this is done, instead of putting their money in their accounts, why can't you help them in a way to set up, because, you know, for example, if I want to do if I want to do a business, for example, that's what I want to do. Right. You know, people who are good at that. Why can't you talk to these people? For example, send money to their accounts, have like an agreement. these funding people, the funding organization, why can't they have, for example, MOUs with some of the, the already
existing,
for example, entrepreneurs and stuff, so that they fund them, so that they can be able to supply whatever that is needed, so that what these guys get at the end of the day as liquid cash is actually the profits.
Right.
Are you getting the point? And then through that way, because they could have been mentored, so even if this cash flow comes in, they know how to go around it.
Yeah, so there's lack of mentorship.
There is a lot of lack of mentorship and showing the way. A framework. It's simply the framework. That's where the problem is.
But most of the youth are literally, the character of a Gen Z is rebellion. You can see most of them are online. They want to do it their way, not the government's way or your way. So how do you chip in and try to cultivate this ecosystem and culture of let's sit down and have a training session, because this one is going to add a skill into your TikTok. Yes, you want to do TikTok, you want to be a TikTok star, but there's an alternative route as well. You can still be a TikTok star, but still get this skill, and it will help you. Yeah.
Right, okay, that's a good question. Let me tell you one thing. If you want to get everything right, especially to do, even if it means we are talking about the GNCs and all that, it's because, first of all, you must have a good listening ear. That's number one. Number two, you must be convincing. You know, let me tell you, and that's why I was talking about innovativeness.
Right.
Until that time, the person who is listening to you gets the point through justification. That's when this person will be able to listen to you. Tell me, if, for example, we call some youth, for example, we have some workshops, and thank you for having such platforms like what you're having right now. Whereby, let's say, for example, the government wants to come up with some projects.
Right.
The government calls the stakeholders, because there are people who are very good at in different ways of doing things. Then we have workshops, in that through the workshops of this, for example, the entrepreneurial champions and all these people who have the models and stuff, come and sit, then come up with very specific projects. Okay, let me call them projects or enterprises across. Because like I told you, they're never the same across the country, in different places. Then they come up with specific projects in various parts of the country. Using the same social media that we're talking about, we inform the agencies, we tell them, we have some available opportunities that are ABCD. For example, let's say, if you're talking about, let's take, for example, we are talking about Kiambu. Within Kiambu, we have these opportunities, opportunity 1, 2, 3, let's say up to 5. And then we need people to come and identify what you're good at, what you can be able to do. So that's how you can be able. So when they come,
so you do like some sort of like a mass audition.
Yeah, a mass. You know, it starts from mass. Because you know you cast wide the net. So that when they come in, now you are able to talk to them, tell them, and it's always good to tell people the end before you start telling them the process. Are you saying that?
Very important.
Yeah, because the moment, if you, the reason why you'll definitely get a resistance is because you've not told these people what to expect at the end of the day. And that's where frustration comes. So, and that's why, like I've told you, the current education system, we are having frustration, because what you're told to get at the end is not what you get, right? So in the same way, you ensure that there is a lot of feasibility study that is being done. You seeing the, you know, Kipachikazi is about, you asked about the financing. The financing more, Kipachikazi is meant to cut down in matters to do with financing, in the sense that we first of all want to utilize what is available. And I can tell you, there is no community in Kenya, if you go there, and that's why we have feasibility study, that if you look around, you can never get a resource. Go to Kisii, see what's happening there. Value addition to Mandizi, Matoke, and all that.
Your
right?
Hometown.
My hometown. That's why we have them.
Are there things you identified, by the way, that are missing?
You see that? There are so many people. The market is, you can't. Are you seeing that? We already, and that's why I told you, like, we look at the project at the end results before you start doing the project. That's all about feasibility studies. Because now, why can't, for example, I'll give you a very, a challenge. We go to places, for example, that's why I told you, every place or community is unique in its own way. You go to Kisii, sit with the people from Kisii, professionals, and then come up with the products so that you can be able to get as value addition out of Mandizi, miwa and all that. There is a lot, because go to every kibanda in Nairobi.
Yeah.
You'll get the avocado. When a customer comes, he will ask you, okay, the avocados, but he will tell you,
right.
I need a Kisii one. I need avocado that has come from Kisii.
Right.
If you go to a sugarcane, the same thing. So that's why now we need, it calls for an innovative mind.
Yeah.
And we are like, now the people from Kisii,
right.
including all the politicians or wherever people there, if they have the community at heart, they sit down and they're like, this product we have, this gold we are sitting on, how can we be able to use this not only to empower the community but our youth as well?
Right.
So how do we go around this? Then we sit down. There is a way out.
Yes.
There is always a way out, and there are so many people who are willing to come in.
Yeah.
We only need what we call the framework,
right.
and the goodwill.
Yeah.
Because you'll find that, currently, most of the financial institutions, actually, they're coming to terms that everyone now is looking at what we call the SDGs achievement. And that's why you've had, okay, maybe I may not mention to be particular, but like most of the banks now have what we call social enterprises funding. You think that?
Meaning that there should be a specific cause that you're trying to, let's say, advocate for in society.
Yeah, in society.
But it's solving a problem.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
You see, like now, what these financial institutions are doing is that they fund enterprises that not only have economical value to the business people, but at the same time has impact. That's why you'll hear of green energy. You see,
and
green
it's an
energy.
innovation, literally.
Yeah, it's innovation,
and
literally.
It's in alignment with
it's
the
an
SDG
alignment
and
to that.
with tech.
Yeah, exactly. So
nice.
These financial institutions, they're actually making money on their side, like any other business.
Right.
But at the same time, they are impacting on.
Yeah, they're solving an issue.
Yeah, they're solving a communal problem.
And that's where my next question is. In terms of, I think there's a program I was sharing with you on CNN that's called African Voices Changemakers, where they shine light on philanthropic activism in terms of people that are changing society with their innovativeness and their creativity. But when you look at the Kenyan society in general, now we've talked of Korogocho, do you believe we need to raise more people like you that are ready with resources, they have already fully fledged running organization in terms of now creating solution-based entrepreneurship? And I believe that's now social entrepreneurship.
Sure.
You're coming up with a cause, you're pursuing it, but you're solving an issue.
Sure.
And at the same time, you're creating opportunity for other people. Do you believe there's need to have people like you, more like 10 of you in your community? Because
actually, okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
What I can tell you, Sakwa, is that the moment, how I wish we could have, like, not only just the government, but NGOs and all stakeholders coming together for one common cause. And that's about, like you see, like the idea that I'm talking about, social entrepreneurship and all this. Because, so the reason why more we came up, we are so much into social entrepreneurship is that it's to bring an incentive in order for, initially how it used to happen is that if you're doing communal work, it's just communal work. And that's the end of the story. So it doesn't have anything much to do with the community. It's either you are dealing with the community or you're doing your business. That's more economical.
Right.
But like now we are now advocating for what we call social. Now we're bringing them together so that whatever that we are able to generate economically, it actually has an impact already in the society as well. So you ask me if I wish maybe we could have more people advocating like what I'm advocating for. That's my prayer. That will be my prayer, absolutely. And if there is anyone who will be willing to join, I don't have a problem with that. And that's why, like I told you, I'm now an African ambassador in the same. Not only just in Kenya, but across Africa. So whoever that is willing from wherever they are watching, let's join our hands. We need, okay, recently when we are having the finals of this competition, actually we were 255 across Africa. The reason we were having a discussion in the sense that why do we have, why is it that there is so much that in terms of materials coming from Africa, maybe to the other world, and then we are getting back the products. Now we need to change that. It should be, we only need innovativeness, commitment, and then goodwill and all that from us realization that it's high time now. What really happens when these products go on the other side and then we get and they come back? Okay, why?
It means we don't have industries and so we're not invested in our EPZs.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You see that? And it's not that we don't have the brightest minds that are running most of the most complex stuff in the world, in the Western world, from Africa. So we have the best brains, but brainwash. We have the materials in plenty, but we're exporting them. Innovativeness in plenty, but we're not making use of them. Why can't we combine this so that now we become the producers of the products instead of exporting materials?
But then the government is telling you, I'm going to Germany to look for 150,000 jobs so that you finish your uni or your TVET and
you go
there work.
I know.
The contradiction is
there is a serious contradiction.
Civil societies and people advocating for different causes and the government.
I know.
When will we have harmony? And then, let's work on developing our own here, because also that again taps into data and tech. Before you even start now giving people opportunities, have you developed how many people in Korogocho need this kind of job? How many are qualified? And if at all you're going to help them, are we going to help all of them, and what is the process? Yeah.
Okay, like I told you earlier, before you get started, you always see the end. And actually, like now what you want to do, if possible, is multiplying what you already have, right? Because we believe by so doing, you, like, okay, let's say, for example, we are dealing like with 130. And most of these youth are people maybe within their families. These are married, either they have kids, they have kids they're taking to school, they have parents they're taking care of, and
what
all
about
that.
High schoolers and university?
Now that's where we are coming next. And that's why I told you, like, the challenge that is in the US, Las Vegas, is to do more of like, how do we, okay, it's called ideally about the, okay, if I can call it like more of the reason why we need to have that conference is because looking at what we call the future of social entrepreneurship. Are you seeing that? The future of entrepreneurship. Meaning that now we need to look at where are we, where, okay,
what are the strides,
and how are we able to move social entrepreneurship to another level. You know, our common goal, or what we want to achieve at the end of the day, is ideally making the SDGs is not, it's just simple. You can just, I mean, you can be able to simplify it to one thing, making making the society a better place for everyone, right? Yeah, it's just simple as that. So we want to see how can we be able to move this to the next level so that we are moving closer to achievement of the SDGs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, I believe, will take it to now technology.
Technology.
I was reading an article on Forbes last night, and it's talking about by end of actually by us arriving towards 2035, all the youth will be having wealth. And this wealth is not in the form of physical wealth, it's in the form of digital assets that are in the blockchain space. So you'll be a billionaire, not with Ferraris and apartments and flats everywhere and planes, but you have a lot of resources in there. In the blockchain space. So in terms of now catalyzing this course that you're on, how has technology helped you move it further in terms of outreach, in terms of awareness, and then as well as resources?
Okay, like right now, there is something that I'm trying to work on. It's called both the AI and some apps. So the app is about, and the AI at the same time, it's more, you know, I believe in what we call information is power.
Okay.
So through these apps and maybe using of, use of the AI, we will be able to empower so many people, not only just in Kenya, but across the world. Why? Because, you know, through the AI, okay, let me simplify it to technology. Okay. You using technology, you know, you make the world a village. Yeah. Whereby we can be able to leverage with other skills that are across the world. In terms of how do we move this? What's happening? I mean, we are able to keep ourselves in check with whatever that is happening, for example, in Nigeria and in Kenya. So if we see this applicable, and okay, how we can be able to apply it here? Those people who are curious, for example, we have that platform whereby now, instead of doing it manually, like I was trying to propose, the youth will be able now to come to the app.
Virtually.
Virtually.
Yes.
And they can be able to be empowered. So they can be able to get the information. For example, they can be able to know where they're able, how they can be able to do something. How am I supposed to
be innovative?
To be innovative.
Virtually.
Yeah.
How do you come up with a problem that's going to solve cancer?
Exactly.
Virtually.
Yeah, virtually.
Yeah. Nice.
How can you be able to do that?
Right.
And then, for example, if it's about community, there are some variables that you need to enter into the AI and, for example, that app. Yeah. And then it will be able to analyze and give you, for example, some of the solutions that you can be able to deal with. Yeah. Or the applicable, for example, if let's say, for example, in a setting, like what we are talking about, let's say, for example, like Korogocho or wherever, Kibera. So there are these, what is available around. So we have the AI and the app at the same time. You only need to enter the variables. Once you enter the variables, then it does the analysis. Then at the end of the day, it gives you like more solutions to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe you will not be able to achieve that without machine learning.
Exactly, machine learning.
Without doing
data
processing, because data is developed.
Yeah.
And that means you'll start targeting specific demographics and then developing the data and then coming up with a specific model. Yeah. And I love what you're doing. Yeah. And I love to ask to move this conversation now to the international stage. If you were to compare, let's say, what the youth are doing in China and in Japan, there's even memes of it. A child in China is already
I know the memes
working on a computer chip.
Well,
but right here in Kenya, you are studying body parts of a butterfly and a grasshopper. So in terms of us achieving and arriving there, how far are we?
I think we're still lagging behind. And that's why, like I told you from the beginning, I really want us to challenge. But, you know, to some extent, I supported the CBC in some, okay, that's a good move.
Okay.
But I think it's not still good enough.
What are the missing links you think need to be fixed?
Sorry, okay, some of the things that need to be fixed, it's like what I told you, like what you're trying to come up right now, like trying to be more practical and being real to the issues that we have. You see, like what usually happens is that we are so much into the way things, the conventional way of always things. And you know what's happening at the moment? The world is moving so fast.
Right.
The world is moving so fast. Okay, can I give you an example? Like in terms of business, you know, the people recently, like most people around Nairobi and most of the towns, you find that they've been doing this kind, okay, maybe you can find someone took a loan and invested in technology, like is supplying the internet around, right? I took, for example, like a loan of like 5 million.
Yeah.
I'm doing, I bought the whatever, the cables, and then supply the network for across the estate. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, someone has come up with the technology of using satellite. So the people don't need the cabling. Yeah. So they only need just to have maybe
is it called the device?
Yeah, a device just to tap it maybe from the satellite, and that's done. Remember, you've invested already, right?
Elon Musk who's coming in. Elon Musk infiltrating the market.
So infiltrating the market in a very smart way. So that's why we need to keep up with the world in terms of technology, because you know what they say is that you either keep up with technology or it sweeps you off. Yeah. So that's why we really need to be very much updated to everyone at that time. We shouldn't be lagging behind, because the more we lag behind, the more we are left. And that's why, like I told you, that we need now to speed up and then improve. Actually, in every aspect that we are doing at the moment, even if it's empowerment, even if it becomes from any other way you look at it, technology is unavoidable. You can never avoid the technology. So we must learn to embrace technology in every aspect that we do, and that's what we want. And that's why I told you about the AI and the apps development, so that we are able to keep up with the technology. There's a Kenyan who did an innovation about I think it's coffee. She did something, I think, was it with Shark Tank, and she got a lot of funding. So, but you've touched on funding a little bit. But I've seen from the stories I've seen, when such competitive ideas are put on stage and people equally judge according to how will you be able to deliver this idea and serve people coffee. Let's say the people of Kibra, do they really need coffee? They need coffee.
They need coffee, So in terms of us now going for international eyeballs to seek funding, The Ford Foundation has just popped my mind. Of course,
Yeah.
they said allegedly it supported the Gen Z protest, but you realize most young people who have competitive ideas are heading for funding from outside and not our very own right here. Does that mean that, you know, our very own ecosystem is not supportive of innovative youth who are talented and skilled, from your understanding?
Okay, from my understanding, all I can say is that funding is purely about interests.
Okay.
Funding is purely about interest. And that's why, like what I was saying, when it comes to social enterprise funding, it's either you get, in terms of, if it's about the specific organizations who have specific goals that they want to achieve in terms of social impact.
Right.
So unless you are doing what they want,
the organization wants,
and then you can be able to justify that.
To be given a cash grant.
Exactly, to be given like a cash grant.
So that means you'll have to qualify.
Yeah, you must qualify.
Yeah.
Okay, there is always a criterion for you to qualify. For example, if it's about funding, you know, funding comes in many ways.
Right.
It can come in terms of grant. You can get, for example, loans to maybe to do that. Maybe you can collaborate.
Yeah.
And all that, and also there is what we call, maybe you can franchise whatever that you're doing. Yeah. Like now for Kipajikazi, what you're looking at is like more franchising.
Right.
So we like to franchise that, not just in Kenya, but even across the world. Because now we need to work with other. You see, like the group that we're talking about in Korogosho, it's not purely like, it's not like called Kipajikazi. They have their own name, but then we are the people, like we want to drive them and make sure that through the Kipajikazi model, they are able to succeed at the end of the day. Yeah. So through that mentorship process, like the feasibility, what can be able then keep up with whatever technology, whatever that is happening around, so that you are able to keep yourself afloat. Right. And then you do, and I mean, so that you don't lose focus. Because, you know, the moment you lose focus on what you want to do, then you can never achieve.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there's a bill that's being debated in Senate. I think it had its first reading on 1st of August. They had the second reading on 6th of August. It's called the Creative Economy Support Bill. So in this bill, they want to register all digital content creators. They're coming up with some sort of a content creations guild. But then the interesting fact about this bill is that they want to ensure that content creation and literally anything that has to do with film, arts, performing theater, even what we're doing right here on TV, should fall under a business under the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Yeah. But then the youth on the other side are up in arms. They're like, why do you want to register me? But then down there, they're finished. They want to sponsor your creative ideas.
Your creative ideas.
But then the youth are against, you know, if the government wants to fund us, that means they want to regulate us.
To regulate.
So because they don't think the government is in goodwill of them. So in terms of acceptance, even to help, because even from the protest, it was the government is not supporting us. They're not giving us money. But here they are, they're giving you, they're giving you money, but you're like, you're not in goodwill of me. So how do you get a youth to be so cooperative and do away with this cantankerousness?
Okay, now let me tell you, the idea is it's noble, but like I told you, it's about the mindset, and then it's about the approach, right? You know, if you want to achieve something, you could have something very, very, very good, but now depending on how you package it, on how you're going to present it to the people, to the intended audience, if you don't do it rightly, there will be resistance. And then remember, like most people, most people will be able to, most people will be able to listen to the ideas, but they will be able to get the meaning of the ideas maybe from other people. So that means that, these people, instead of them trying to get the gist in that, they'll be able to buy. You know, there are people who are just propagandists in some way. Whatever that they will tell you and whatever that is in that, it's totally different. Yeah. Are you seeing that? Yeah. And then, so that's why we have what we call like we call them the opinion shapers in community. If they get it wrong, everyone else does. And then remember, like what happens on social media. Social media is a very powerful tool. You cannot ignore that. Yeah. You cannot ignore that. So the moment
where most of the youth are. The podcast, the expresses,
that is
they're talking about.
And that's why, as much as that, we need what we call, this is what I will propose. If maybe if the government will be able to help on the same. have like what we call some kind of like channels. Let's say, for example, using like, you know, this is a very credible TV station.
Absolutely.
To make clarification, because every day, everything is coming up. So we can have something like maybe like a show where things are being clarified.
Some
because
sort of civic education.
Yeah, sure. Some civic education in matters that is happening. That way they will get it right. But the moment you assume no one is coming to address and put everything in perspective and give facts as it's supposed to be, you expect what we call resistance.
Okay. And then it looks like they are not in goodwill of us since they've been oppressing us.
Yeah,
for the longest
sure.
time,
Yeah. Because, you know, that's a very good one. Just know that there's always what we call the default kind of, perception. The default perception, especially for the Gen Zs and the youth, is that the government is oppressing us.
Yes.
Are you seeing that?
And
so
it
that
looks like
so now that remains. It's a burden now for the government to do what?
It's not a bad thing to be together with the government.
Exactly.
Even if they are giving you
that. So that's why now the government has to look for an approach of now responding to the same. But now the moment maybe they go back or they don't address that it's supposed to happen, then that's where the problem is. Now that's where we said that these opinion shapers of these people takes over now to even misinterpret whatever that is being put across. And that's where now the problem comes in.
Yeah. Before we actually conclude, you said you're also tapping into persons living with disability.
Yeah, sure.
How are you embracing them on board?
For people they're living with disabilities, we also look at them in terms of the projects that they can be able to do according to. Because you see, for them, there's some projects maybe they cannot be able to do. But you see, if they can do like a project, let's say for example like poultry, they can be able to do that. There are those who can be able to do that. And it's not a must that it's just them doing, but they can be employers as well. You see, if they're now employers, then in a way they're also creating opportunities for the youth as well.
That is matters inclusion.
Yeah, that's inclusion and all that. Women the same. And that's why I told you, Kipaji Kazi focuses on the three. So the youth, we have the youth, women, and the PWDs.
Yes.
Sure.
Are you giving grants anytime soon?
I'm looking for those grants.
Oh, you're looking. But then you're going to Las Vegas on.
Maybe
next
year.
Or next year.
Next year, God willing, that is. I'm still working on the same. But God willing,
so what are you presenting in Las Vegas? Is it some sort of like a TED talk?
It's a model. It's a social enterprise model that I'm talking about. Actually, the one that won the African award, that's Kipaji Kazi. It's a social entrepreneurship model that needs to be replicated across the world so that at least people, and that's what I'm telling you about. It's basically, ideally about changing the mentality from the job-seeking mentality to opportunity creation. Are you seeing that? That's number one. Number two is about ensuring that whichever businesses, social entrepreneurship is ideally, primarily about adding economical value to the players, but at the same time having an impact on society and the people involved, using the locally available resources to create
then tech now.
To serve the needs of the same community that we're talking about.
Lastly now, this is my last question, and then you can tell people how they can get to be in touch with you and what you're doing. What would be your recommendations to, let's say, a young man who is grappling, both young men and women who are grappling with, trying to find opportunities, get into employment, they're applying here and there, they're not receiving feedback. There's just a certain sense of hopelessness, If we're going to look at the protest, the Gen Zs, why they went to the streets, they went because they don't have opportunities. So from your third eye, meaning your epiphany of experience, what would be your recommendations to this youth who's watching Y254 channel right now?
All that I can say is that pursue your dream, and that's passion. So, and this passion does not come easy. And that's what I said, that when it comes to vision, you don't need permission. All you need to do is just pursue your dream of becoming what you want. And if you are to involve yourself in any activity or an enterprise, there are things that you have to look at. Number one, whatever that I want to do, is it feasible? Then we have what we call the support system. If you want to achieve this, where do I start? And where do I start and who do I approach, for example? And then, now that's why I call in the government and the other players, that's the stakeholders. Let's come together, see how we can be able to help our youth. Empowerment is not about getting money out there, creating what we call the funding, funding models and all that. It's a holistic kind of a thing that we need to come together, then draw the framework on how we can be able to help the youth. Because even with the meager resources that we have in different parts of the country and all that, they are able to create a good number, opportunities for a good number of not only our youth, but our women, at the same time, the people with disabilities.
Right.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And if they want to be in touch and maybe receive support.
Okay, if they want to be in touch,
okay.
I have the business number that then they can be able to reach, or maybe they can reach me on Twitter as well. It's O Ondora. It's at O Ondora. That's Meshack Nyaberi.
Okay.
On TikTok is Kipajikazi. Kipajikazi is one word. Kipajikazi. You can reach on that.
Yeah.
And you can reach me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is Meshack Nyaberi, as it is. Just Meshack Nyaberi. Yeah, and yeah.
But what will they expect if they get to their social media? You've said there's a number, so if they call,
okay. The number
who will receive it?
No, okay. That number they just need to maybe WhatsApp. You just WhatsApp on that number, and then maybe we can be able to have a conversation from there. Okay, the number is just simple.
Yeah, please.
It's 0111 21 6060.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ensure that you plug in so they can get advice, help.
Yeah.
Also, if they want to be a part of Angel Smile and get
Angel Smile, welcome.
Yeah.
Because we want people to smile. That's why we are called Angel Smile Initiative. Okay. And Angel Smile, we're doing it with some people. I'm actually working with very senior people.
Right.
Okay, in terms of who've been in the field actually passionately, and these are the people who have really inspired me.
Yeah.
Someone
like mentors you look up to.
Yeah, actually. Like our mentor, that's Shoyaro.
Yeah.
He's been doing, together with Dan,
right.
They've been doing what we call community work for the longest time, starting like almost like 30 years ago. So they've been working. I only just came in, and then I saw what they're doing, and even people from the other communities. And then I was so passionate. This is something that I was so passionate about. So when I got into the system with my innovative mind and all that, so I could be able to chart my way forward and see, you know, when it comes to whatever that we want to achieve, it comes in. You must have an inner drive for you to achieve that.
Absolutely. And I think we can put a close to that. Thank you so much for sharing these powerful insights. Mr. Meshack Nyaberi, you know how to plug and get to him. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much.
All right, and thank you to you too for watching us from exactly 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early right here.